Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do a profile on my frog deck that truthfully has brought me a ton of success, locals at least. Being where we're two on an island, we don't really have access to big events, regionals or YCSs. But, forgive the shaky camera, using a little tripod. The deck performed extremely well. I'll get into the list here now and just go over. So most people know frogs as being paleo frogs, which is probably the best version. But I wanted to make a deck that was good going first or second with frogs because I find going second with a 32 card trap deck with 8 frogs is just super. You're just so far behind because you need to turn to set up. So I want to make a deck that go first or second. This deck does it, and see what you think. So let's get into the list. Triple swap frog, he starts their combos. If you can open him and a water, that's a toad. Him by himself can help set up for later because you don't need to keep it in your hand. But surprisingly, you do open him fairly often with another water, and triple dupe and double Rotentonen, which is the standard swap frog or frog package. And it's pretty standard across the board. Here's where my list differs. I run triple Rescue Rabbit with the triple Slime Toad. A 1-card Toad is never bad. Yes, you have a chance of opening these as Garnets. The nice thing about opening him with Swap Frog, obviously, is you get a free Toad there totally as well. And surprisingly, with the amount of ashes running around, this resolves more often than not. So I like this. I like this because this is a real power card, going first and seeing 1 rabbit, because that means your 4 other cards are probably traps. So going first with Toad and 4 traps is almost an auto win. At least give you a major advantage. So because I wanted to make this deck for going first or second, I'm making hand traps in the form of 3 Ash Blossom, 2 Droll and Lockbird, and 3 Psyframe Gamma with Driver. So obviously Ash is pretty staple. It's good against almost any rogue deck. It's good against a lot of meta as well. Droll and Lock shuts down a lot of meta as well, especially with Dangers going. I'll probably bump that to 3. And the reason I run Gamma is for opening this and Rabbit, so you're guaranteed your Rabbit will resolve, and it punish your opponent hard if they ash your Rabbit with this in your hand. So you can Omega, so they lose 2 cards, you get Omega and totally, so you can't go wrong there. And truthfully, when people see totally on board, they're trying to bait him, and then using, well, Gamma not so much, but having Ash and Droll and stuff as an extra negate plus your traps, so you can't go wrong there. I run one spell in the form of Monster Reborn, and technically this can be cut because it can brick opening up with no way to reborn anything. It's a dead card. But late, mid-game, you summon back a Toad for free. It's really good. So, iffy on this, but this is just the 1 spell I play. Into the traps, we got Triple Lost Wind. Excellent card against the meta. I mean, a lot of stuff is protected from destruction. So this targets, negates effects, cuts attack in half. And when your frogs are so small, this card puts in a lot of work to get over problems. 3 heavy Storm Dusters. I play this over Twin Twister, as you'll see coming up, but this card is a help you resolve Toad, help you get rid of problem back rows. The only Paleozoic I play in this deck is Dynamiscus, and only for the fact that it targets and banishes, which is really good. Banishing, say, Colossus or Titan is nice to get off the board. Yes, they can recur them, But this card can get rid of face-up anything. If this face-up card doesn't have to be monster, so floodgates or any problem. You can stop field cards from resolving. It's almost like a pseudo MST. And throwing water monsters or throwing a discard is, yes, it's a hefty cost for a deck like this because there's not much draw power. But I never really found it a situation where I couldn't resolve this. And the reason I play all these is Trap Trick, which this card, amazing. Really puts in a lot of work for Paleo or Frogs in general, any trap deck, truthfully. It's whatever you need at the moment. So if they have a Colossus and end phase, you can Dynamiscus it. If they set 2 back row or set multiple back row, you can Trap Trick Heavy Storm Duster, end phase, destroy 2. And if they have a problem monster on the board, you can Lost Wind. It's extremely versatile, and the fact that you can activate traps all turn and then do this with very low restriction is really good. End phase is where this card shines, and I think if you're running multiple vanilla or vanilla normal trap cards, it's definitely a must though. 2 impermanents. This would be 3 if I had a third. I only have 2 right now. But this card is basically another hand trap, so going second or going first is an extremely good card in this deck. 3 Goza Match, which technically is really put in a lot of work last format. This format, not so much. I mean, only for the fact that a lot of decks, locally at least, are the same type. All light, all dark, you know, all water, which my deck is. So I find myself siding this out more often than not, but this card is a pretty big blowout against certain decks. It punishes hard if they don't play around this kind of card. So I think I'm going to keep it for now, but this could change. I might go into the side. And I play triple Solemn Strike. This is another power card for getting rid of problem monsters, inherent summons, and anything from the extra deck, and of course the negating effects as well. You're not really too concerned about life points in this deck. There's not really much anything in this deck that causes you to worry about your life points, but this card usually gets side out in game 3, if you're close to time. I don't play anything that pays life when I'm getting that close to ending around. And finally, just Imperial Order, which you resolve against certain decks. It's just auto win. True Draco, Pendulum Magicians, stuff like that. You flip that on their first spell, they'll pretty much give you game 1 unless they can get rid of it. Let's go into the extra deck, which is extremely straightforward. Mystar Boy, pretty much staple in any water deck. Akashic Magician, I'll talk about her for a second. She comes in really handy when you're playing Kaijus. I play some Kaijus on the side. So Kaiju and their guy, you make her. Usually what I do is obviously to a Rodent Tone swap save, for example. Make her, bring that Kaiju back to my hand. Bring Ronan back. Turn this into Nightmare Unicorn. Shuffle another card. It's a good little way to clear a board. Summon Sorcerer, that don't really come up that often, but I mean it is a thing you can do. Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Cerberus, Nightmare Unicorn, just generic removal, spells, monsters, and just anything needed. Where this shuffles back into the deck is really good too. One thing I found with the deck, I used to play Ogres, and with Ash Blossoms, is having, they're obviously free tuners. So if you want multiple, obviously you can only use once per turn. So I was like, maybe I should just start running some generic 5s for synchros, because all the frogs are 2. Obviously you can't use Rodent Tone for synchro, but Swap Frog and Dew Frog are perfect examples for this. So this and one of your tuners, level 3 tuners. Chambara puts in a lot of work, especially to open boards. He can put in a lot of damage. And Catastor is just a card I really like. It's probably not as relevant as it used to be. And I probably could be put anything else really, but sometimes it comes up. It's nice card. Omega for the Gammas. And to the XYZs, the only two non-Toad cards I play is Sky Cavalry. Cat Shark I put in recently because I find my guys, the only turbo I ever come in is that my guys are too small to get over big bodies. So I put Cat Shark in to make Toad 42 to get over big guys. And Sky Cavalry is in out to Chaos Max or something non-targeting removal. And surprisingly, those kind of monsters that come on the field, this deck has a hard time removing monsters that can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So Sky Cavalry has put in work before. And 3, totally awesome. If you open him, if you go first and open Toad, your chances of winning drastically increase. It's a hard out. The 3 effects are always relevant. Standby for dupe, negate anything, and when he's sent to grave, add back a water. So you can't go wrong. He's pretty much the reason this deck is even a thing. I'll show you my side for what I played recently, but this could be anything based on your own locals and such. 3 Witch's Strike. I figured this card would be super punishing to anything that puts up multiple negates. And me and my buddy were talking about comboing this with Trap Trick, because obviously Trap Trick can search this out. And I think that if you activate something, you activate a spell, say, and they trigger a monster that can negate a spell. And then you chain your Trap Trick to set Witch's Strike. So when that chain resolves, you got Trap Trick sets this, their negation goes through, your card gets negated and destroyed, and then new chain, Witch's Strike, because they just finished negating a card. So if that ruling is correct, which we haven't checked with any official judges, but we believe that's correct, then this card is going to be a super good card in the side. It definitely punishes players that don't realize this is happening. And I also like the fact that I can Trap Trick, show my opponent this, set it, and now I'm going to make my plays, and if you have any interruption, you know this is set, right? So that card. 3D barrier for basically just Thunder Dragons. This is the only reason I was playing this card. I guess in the Scatter Pendulum deck as well. But this card against Thunder Dragons is good, and of course, being a normal trap, you can Trap Trick it. Evenly Match, going second. This card's a blowout, another punishing card for people that don't know what's going on or don't play around this kind of card. If they have no negates on board with a full field, this is pretty much game. The Kaiju I was talking about is Gameciel, obviously a water target for swap. You can add this back with Toad, which is pretty cool. And like I said, giving this to your opponent's boss monster and then Akashic Magician it back, and then go into Unicorn and such. You can make some cool plays with this, and it's always live again next turn. So I love the Gameciel. I might try. I might try putting in more Kaijus and playing Slumber where it's back at 3, but for now I'm just using that. And Pankratops, which is really good in this deck because he's a big body, he's 26, and he's a chainable pop. So they activate something to get rid of him, you can just chain him and pop another card. He's pretty much standard in a lot of side decks these days, and 2600 is nothing to laugh at, because most extra deck monsters nowadays, or link monsters at least, are super small, so you can get over with him. And him combined with Toad gives you puts a lot of pressure on your opponent. And that's the deck. So I think I've played this deck now for, I would say, geez, it must be months, and I've had a lot of success. Topped a lot of locals, high placed a lot of locals. Our locals had Invitational last year, where obviously the top players throughout the year, they had top 12, so you get together and play an Invitational. Pretty much it's like a little version of their own championship. And I brought this deck and I won with it as well, so super proud of it. Don't know how much longer it can maintain, because I brought this to locals yesterday, and with the new meta rolling out, it's falling behind faster than I'd like it to. So unless they release more frogs or some type of specific support for frogs, then it's gonna keep falling behind, because obviously there's nothing. You know, Swap Frog is from SOVR, Stardust Overdrive, I want to say, or Crimson Crisis. So he's such an old card as it is. The fact that we had Totally Awesome is the only reason you'll ever see frogs being played today. So, but I mean, he is a power card on his own, and I'm probably going to move on to something new now after playing this deck for well over, I guess, a year now for sure. I've been testing, and I played the Paleo version with 8 frogs and 32 traps, or whatever you want to do, like that, 30 traps, and it's good, but I just found it way too slow. So and with this being a dice roll format, you really need something that's viable for going first or second. So that was that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope this was informative, and I hope some of you can take some information from this and help your frog deck succeed, because I know this one gave me a lot of success. Anyway, guys, this is Jeff. Thanks for watching. See you later.